This spring, Suffolk Downs will host its final horse race, and then one of the largest redevelopment projects in Boston history will get underway. At well over 100 acres, the Suffolk Downs site rivals the size of the neighborhood we talked about last night. That would be the Seaport. And as Adam Reilly tells us, both the Seaport and city's housing shortage are poised to shape the transformation of the old racetrack.
Right now, the old Suffolk Downs racetrack has that special melancholy unique to places that are about to disappear. But when developer Thomas O'Brien of the HYM Investment Group outlines his vision for the property, the mood changes.
Great restaurants where people can enjoy a nice meal, great parks where people can be outside and stroll and walk and exercise if they choose. 25% of the entire area should be dedicated to open space.
And O'Brien adds Suffolk Downs 2.0 will provide a major boost to the Boston area's housing stock, with 10,000 new units straddling East Boston and Revere.
We really feel like this site can be part of the solution to the crisis.
Which is exactly what Boston City Councilor Lydia Edwards wants to happen. But she's wary.
Done right, it could be one of the greatest things that's happened to our community. Done wrong, you end up with the Seaport,
where a new neighborhood sprang up seemingly overnight, with plenty of high-end housing and retail, but a dearth of diversity, public space, and overall character.
It doesn't really seem a neighborhood at all.
To keep that from happening here, Edwards has a very specific request. In Boston, developers have to make 13% of the new housing they build affordable. She wants 20%.
I just don't think that 13% is enough to really house the folks who are being displaced in Boston, and also to really assure that we have a growing middle class and we have a neighborhood that involves working people.
A group whose future in East Boston seems uncertain as new developments reminiscent of the Seaport spring up near gritty older homes that cost a lot more than they used to.
If you look at any building where they have affordable units, for 40 units there might be 6,000 to 7,000 applicants. We do not have enough affordable units.
According to O'Brien, though, that 20% affordable ask is a non-starter.
The cost of building these units is very expensive, and it's very hard to add new costs to that. And so we just can't see a way that we can make that math work.
That said, O'Brien agrees that the Seaport is a cautionary tale. He vows that the new Suffolk Downs will be far more welcoming.
Once we take those fences down, once we start building the open space, then we can bring people in. We want this to be a place that is welcoming for all kinds of different people.
Still, as the project works its way through Boston's planning process, that disagreement over affordability could become an impasse. Because while O'Brien says 20% is undoable, Edwards says it's a must. And she adds,
we technically still have the final say.
Adam Reilly joins me now. Hey there, Adam.
Hey, Jim.
So I know obviously the site is big. This is where Amazon HQ2 was, if we had, okay, whatever. But to channel Johnny Carson, how big is it? I mean,
Jim, it's so big. No, so you hear 161 acres brought up a lot.
I don't even know what that
I don't
means.
know what an acre is. 122, I got to check my numbers here, 122 football fields, which is impressive. Another way to put it is a little more than 3 Boston Commons laid out next to each other, with 2 in Boston and 1 in Revere.
You know, so on the affordability question, which obviously is center stage for a lot of people, what are we talking about costs for the typical family?
As you know, Boston calculates this stuff according to area median income, which is a source of controversy because more affluent suburbs get caught up in it. So let's say that you're a family of 4 with 100% of area median income, $107,000. You could buy a house in a development like this for $358,000. If you make 70% of AMI, about $75,000, you could rent an apartment for, I think, around $1,800. If you're making half of AMI or $54,000 for a family of 4, you can rent your apartment for maybe $1,300. But as Lydia Edwards mentioned, there's a lot more people who want places like that than can get them.
Speaking of Councilor Edwards, I know nothing. I never understand who approves what in Boston. Yeah. But when she says technically we have the final say, that's not true, is it, or is it?
The City Council does not have the final say, but the city, via the Boston Planning and Development Agency, does have the final say. So I think she's talking about the city as a whole, and what she can do and her colleagues on the council could do if they want is put intense public pressure on the BPDA to push the developer to go in the direction they want.
Fair enough. Adam, I love the 2-night comparison, by the way.
Okay, good. Thanks, Joe.
Second half. Thank you.